Hello. I think that I am live. I have never actually gone live on um, YouTube before, but I think I have it all set up. Okay, perfect. All right, so I was getting all set up to do my typical weekly video, which, if you've been following along, you know that the videos usually correspond to the blogs that I put out in the same week. But I got some really heartbreaking feedback, and I couldn't help but share something specific to that. So if you are joining either live or down the road, watching this as a replay, we are going to talk for just a second about what is a critical quality, two critical qualities actually, of being a great leader. Because I have seen too many examples of people who are ready to pat themselves on the back, but are actually terrible leaders. So, my name is Kelly Hearn. I am with Transitional Leadership, and I help individuals and businesses implement leadership and career skill development to foster a greater impact. That is what I and my company are all about. We want to use leadership and your career to create a bigger impact within an organization and for, you as an individual. Now, like I said, today I want to talk specifically about the critical qualities of a great leader. And that really came out of just some heartbreaking feedback that I had gotten from those that I have worked with about other leaders that they have experienced. So, I am just going to jump right in and tell you right off of the bat that those two qualities that you need to be a great leader are authenticity and hope. And if you cannot build hope and be authentic with your reports or with your volunteers or with your children, for that matter, with anyone that you're leading, you will not be successful as a leader. Hear me again. If you cannot be authentic and if you cannot create hope for the people who are following you, you will not be a great leader. And those feel like these nebulous concepts. What is the framework? How do we build hope? How do we create authenticity? There isn't a framework for that. There isn't a structure for that. It is infused in every single interaction that you have with your people, with those who are following you, with those who are looking up to you. You have to be able to impart those two things to them. And what happens if you don't? What do you get if you don't? What sort of leader, manager, figurehead are you if you are not creating hope and you are not creating authenticity with your team, with your individuals? Then you are a manager, you are a figurehead who is surprising people. You are reminding them of the failures that they've had. Whether you're overtly saying it or not, that is the reminder that you're giving them. I asked a potential client what she really hoped to have in her dream job. What was the feeling that she wanted to get? And do you know what she told me? She didn't say anything about having freedom to go here or there or work remotely. She didn't talk about having, all sorts of money and boundaries and all of those things that feel difficult to give employees or feel difficult to build as a leader for people. What she wanted out of her dream job was security and confidence. She wanted to feel secure and build confidence. You aren't necessarily getting that from all of those other perks, right? Those other perks are important. But if you can't feel secure and build confidence, then what are you even doing there? The rest of it is just the how. But I felt like that was such a great example of what is important to our employees today? Security and confidence. And no, that doesn't mean that they're going to stay at that job forever. No, that doesn't mean that they're going to rise through the ranks of the org chart in record speed. That doesn't have to be what security and confidence is. That's a feeling that you get every day while you're at work. That's a feeling that you get every single time that you're talking with your leader. And what's giving you those feelings? The authenticity that your leader is providing and the hope that they are able to build in you. So let's talk through a couple of examples, because like I said, there isn't a framework for this, but this is something that you need to understand how it just kind of comes as a hiccup or like breathing. It's just happening consistently throughout all of your interactions. So how are you building authenticity and sharing that with your group? Well, you're doing that by telling the truth, even when it's hard. So when you don't know the answer, you just say, I'm not sure what the direction of the company is going to be, but I know that I have your back and that I will go to bat for you. Or I've gotten a little bit of information about the org structure that I'm not able to share at this time, but I can tell you that the company is working really hard and has all of the employees' best interests at heart. It's just telling the truth. It doesn't even have to be that big, right? It doesn't have to be this big, scary, organizational type topic. Maybe it's something as small as that employee was in a meeting and didn't handle themselves really well. Authenticity is walking up to that person in a secluded situation, whether it's a one-on-one or a separate call or something like that, and saying, hey, Susie, that was pretty tough. And I understand what you were trying to say, but I think that you could have communicated it this way or that way and had a better response. Or I think you probably could have prepared more and shared where you were going with that thought a little bit more clearly and concisely. That is authenticity. It's also saying, as a leader, I'm not perfect. I made a mistake. I messed this thing up. Let me share that with you. And let me tell you what I'm doing to make sure I don't do that again, or to make sure that I'm better the next time that comes around. Make sure that I represent you better to upper management, to make sure that I communicate better with all of the teams and can clearly represent the hard work that you're putting in every single day. That is creating authenticity and showing authenticity to your team. Now, an example of that specifically for me came in a really highly rated performance evaluation. So I got my performance evaluation from my boss. I was sure that it was going to be negative. I was sure that it was going to be a problem. But instead, everything was positive. The score was really high. Now, I think to the untrained eye, someone would say, well, that's great. That means that your boss was pushing you, but that really you were doing a great job. Well, no. That means that boss surprised me and was not on par with the feedback they were giving me throughout the year and what they told me at the end of the year. That means that they didn't build any authenticity with me throughout that span of time that we were working together, because I had no idea where that performance review was going. So while I guess I would choose that over the alternative, thinking it was going to be great and having it come back negative, the truth was, it made me distrust them even more, because what they had been saying throughout the year did not come to fruition in the end. And then let's talk about hope and the antithesis of that, reminding people of their failures. So, a great leader, even when you mess stuff up, is going to show you the path out. is going to show you the path forward so that you can improve your skills, so that you can present yourself better, make a bigger and better impression, have a greater impact, like we were talking about at the top. That is building hope. Even in the face of adversity, they're helping you work through different solutions. Now, the opposite of that, and what some managers who think that they are leading their teams well would say, is that they're reminding their teams of mistakes that they've made along the way, purely for the sake of reminding them that they are not perfect. They think that that will somehow build the armor around those people so that they're stronger and more prepared to take on what's next. And that is not how it works. You do not continuously throw barbs at someone in hopes that they will be better able to deflect them and protect themselves in the future. That is not the answer. You build hope around how they can improve, sure. And let that be the instance for talking about mistakes that had happened in the past only as a way to build on them and move forward. But simply reminding someone of failures is only going to continuously run that loop in their mind of how they are a failure. And that's not true. And if you are a manager or a leader watching this and you can hear yourself, maybe you have surprised your employees. Maybe you do remind them of their failures. I would ask them how they feel and how they want to feel. Do your employees currently feel secure and confident? Do they feel like they have hope? Do they feel like they can trust you? Ask them the questions. Watch their answers. Listen to them, sure, but watch them too. Because my guess is that if you are surprising them, if they can't trust and know the steadiness of your leadership, then they are not comfortable in their roles. And if they're not comfortable, if they don't feel secure and they don't feel confident in what they're doing, they won't be able to deliver that impact that you want. They won't be able to build the teamwork and provide the results that you need. I know it's a lot of pressure, friend, but as the leader, you own that. You have to create that authenticity and build that hope for people so that they can continue to grow. I know that that's a little bit of a harsh message, and I'm so sorry. Like I said, I've just been hearing too much of it lately. And I think what's happening is managers and leaders are feeling like they have to check the box on all of these little whats and hows around work from home and flexible schedules and I don't know, how do you virtually provide pizza to everybody on the team? They're getting stuck on these silly little things and they're forgetting about what would be the $1,000,000 question. How do you make them feel secure and confident? And I promise you, it's through authenticity and hope. All right. I hope that you learned something from this today. I hope that you took something away. If you thought of a friend or a colleague who would really benefit from this message or it would speak to them in some way, I would just encourage you to share it with them. And as always, if you learned anything, I want you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any other videos, especially impromptu live ones like this. All right. Have a wonderful day.